Hello everyone, my name is Zhao Xuexin. Task 1, Topic 1, the macro economy and understanding the business cycle. GDP, inflation, and unemployment reflect visual macroeconomic considerations that are pretending to evaluating economic conditions. GDP is the sum of the total goods and services manufactured and provided in an economy, where its growth indicates expansion and its deadline indicates construction. Inflation is the measure of the rate at which general levels of price for goods and services are rising. Subsequently, according purchasing power and business expenses. The unemployment rate is an important indicator of the health of the economy. Lower unemployment rates are always associated with a strong economy. As the economy undergoes business cycles, these indicators evolve simultaneously through the four business cycle phase. Inspections, increasing GDP and deadline unemployment with moderate inflation. Peak, the highest point of GDP and lowest employment rate with increasing inflation. Construction, decreasing GDP along with rising employment and deadline inflation, and through lowest GDP and highest unemployment with low inflation. These conditions have to be understood by every generations as planning becomes simpler and more effective when strategic moves can be made based on them. During expansion phase, companies might increase production capacity or expand markets, while constructions call for cost control and efficiency. This knowledge guides financial decisions regarding investments and borrowing, informs pricing strategies as inflation fluctuates, and support labor market planning for hiring and compensation. Organizations that effectively interpret these indicators gain competitive advantage through better resource allocation and strategic positioning in different economic environments. Topic 2, Traffic and Trade Wars. Using the demand and supply diagram provided, I can explain how the imposition of new tariffs on exports from Singapore to the United States would affect our generalizations. When the US imposes tariffs on goods from Singapore, this effectively acts as a tax that shifts the supply curve leftward. While the original equilibrium represents our current export situations, the traffic creates an additional cost for each unit exported. This cost cannot be absorbed entirely by our company, resulting in higher price for American consumers and lower quantities of our products being exported. From our organization's perspective, this shift would lead to several consequences. First, our export volume to the US market would decrease as the higher price reduced demand for our products. Second, our profit margins would be skewed as we might need to absorb part of the traffic cost to remain competitive. Third, we will likely need to absorb part of the traffic cost to consider for reduced US sales. Additionally, exploring opportunities in markets with more favorable trade conditions. In general, this impact of tariffs on trade between two countries is negative. Tariffs artificially alter market price, which negatively impacts both trade and overall economic efficiency. Although some domestic industries may benefit in the short run and get protected, tariffs through many protections advantage into reciprocal measures, trade wars, and conflict for both economics. These tariffs would especially hurt Singapore, whose economy highly depends on international trade, by stunting economic growth, increasing job loss in exports in industries, and diminishing the country's competitive edge in the global markets. Topic 3, Insights from Behavioral Economics. Behavioral economics broaden the scope of economic analysis by including sociological factors. It gives us a deeper understanding of the condition where people prefer healthier food choices, yet constantly include an unhealthy eating. Prison-based is as storied, but we must consistently distinguish between unhealthy yet tasty food and better health, which is a future goal that expands the appeal of instant gratification, the challenge of time inconsistent preference is also an assumption of traditional economics. Status quo-based SK correlates the sentiment around resisting change, especially when it concerns losing its ability-eating partners. This base supports maintain current habit due to perceived high physiological cost of switching. How options are presented, such as store placement and package, greatly impacts consumer choice, unlike traditional economics, which assumes customer preference are unchanging irrespective of context. Choice architecture takes into account how food decisions are catered to. Other crucial factors like a lack of willpower lead to a lack of thought considerations in choice, while traditional economics assumes uninterpreted decision making across all conditions. Behavioral economics highlights the constraints of human connections. Bridging the gap between intention and action as far as food choices and consent can be achieved through redesigning environments in which choices are made, using commitment device or applying social norms. Topic 4: Developments in AI and implications for inequality in the labor market. Labor market inequality is affected significantly as work patterns are rapidly transformed by generative AI. Let us envision the first scenario in the case where generative AI works to reduce inequality. In this case, the technology may act as proactively enhancing tool, helping workers of all skills levels. AI assistance available to lower skilled workers helps bolster their productivity, thereby bridging the gap with higher skilled workers. This scenario would shift the demand curve to this scenario would cause significantly shift in the demand curve to the right, increasing the weight of lower skilled workers relative to those of higher skilled workers. A complement to substitute human labor, the investment in workforce training aids the workforce, and profound benefits are widely disseminated. In the case of increasing inequality driven by generative AI, the technology has disproportionate benefit for high-skilled workers, as the economy is made of middle and lower-skilled employees who carry out routine tasks. They are automated. This forms the hollowing out effect, where demand for labor increases on the upper side for high-skilled workers, but there is an outflow on the lower end for middle and low-skilled workers. There is further wage populations with high-skilled workers common AI tools seeing salary increase, while others experiences stagnation or decline. In this scandal, we assume AI is primarily subordinate to subsequent labor, and the routine tasks are controlled by the technology with ownership concentrated among a few. In the next 5 years, I expect an initially moderate growth of inequality to increase for some years and then correct itself on average. Early adopters will disproportionately benefit high-skilled workers and large organizations, depending the divide. However, once AI tools become widely available and workers adapt through risking some mitigating effects are possible. The role of government policy and education will be significant in determining whether AI confronts the labor market inequality or depends it.